I just feel like maybe we're like, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Lesbian Visibility Day, taking place today on Sunday, April 24th, 2022. I'm Suyane. I'm the Women's Program Curator for the New Haven Pride Center. And I want to welcome you guys to our first in-person and hybrid program, I think, since the pandemic happened. So welcome. So today is Lesbian Visibility Day, and I just kind of want to start off with stating some of our goals for the day. Today is focused around the DIY scene and radical working class queers, so that's going to be basically like the basis of our programming throughout the entire day. Some of our goals are to create a safe and welcoming and unified space for all queers. 2, to amplify the people working behind the New Haven DIY scene. 3, to highlight the importance of radical and working class non-men and our solidarity. And number 4, to celebrate the history of zines in lesbian culture and their revival as a creative means of sharing information, creative ideas, and culture. I do want to do a note of inclusivity, although this is like technically a women's programming and I am the women's program curator. All of my events are totally inclusive and we're going to be centering mostly queer women, non-binary femmes, and lesbians, but I think it's important to have inclusive events so that we're always, connecting with other parts of the queer community. So I just want to say that the people joining us today are not all lesbians, they're not all women. We have agendered, non-binary, gender non-conforming folks joining us today, but we're all here to be together and celebrate a pretty important day and celebrate DIY and working class queers. So that's all the talking I have. Emma here is going to be reading a passage from our book, Stonebridge Blues. This was the book that we read for our Lavender Lit Book Club a few weeks ago, and this book is going to be kind of folded into all of our programming today, as it talks a lot about, lesbian history and also working class queers and DIY culture. So yeah, Emma, if you want to read the passage and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Emma. I am a 26-year-old transgender individual who has volunteered today to read the Stonebridge Blues passage. Despite the fact that I'm a transgender individual, I am a faithful ally of the lesbian community, non-binary community, and everybody else within the LGBTQ spectrum. This is what courage is. It's not just living through the nightmare. It is doing something with it afterward. It is being brave enough to talk about it to other people. It's trying to organize to change things. My legs could hardly get me up on stage. I looked at the hundreds of faces staring at me. I'm not a gay man. My own amplified voice startled me. I'm a butch, a he, she. I don't know if the people who hate our guts call us that anymore, but that single epithet shaped my teenage years. Everyone got quiet as I spoke, and I knew they were listening. I knew that they had heard me. I spotted a femme woman, about my age, who stood near the back of the crowd. She nodded as I spoke, as though she recognized me. Her eyes were warm with memories. I know about getting hurt, I said, but I don't have much experience talking about it. And I know about fighting back, but I mostly know how to do it alone. That's a tough way to fight, because I'm usually outnumbered and I usually lose. An older drag queen on the edges of the protest slowly waved her hand back and forth over her head in silent testimony. I watch protests and rallies from across the street, and part of me feels so connected to you all, but I don't know if I'm welcome to join. There's lots of us who are on the outside and we don't want to be. We're getting busted and beaten up. We're dying out here. We need you. But you need us too. I don't know what it would take to really change the world. But couldn't we get together and try to figure it out? Couldn't the we be bigger? Isn't there a way that we could help fight each other's battles so that we're not always alone?
Thanks, Emma. Awesome, that was beautiful. So that was just a little passage to kind of lead us into the day. Thank you so much for reading.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys at 10:30 for our first panel on the DIY scene in New Haven.